welcome to a brand new season of Mindful Molly. I just want to start off by saying I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys that plugged in, that were listening, that were showing your love and support, sharing the podcast for the first season and just making it a huge success and something that really surpassed my vision with it when I first started the podcast. So with that being said, I just want to say I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys. And now we're coming with a brand new season with some more gems just to share with you guys, things and that I started to learn to understand, that therefore it helped me improve my life on a daily basis. So with that being said, this season I will be going into the 12 laws of the universe and basically how to apply them to your daily life. Not only just to help yourself, but to help others. Not only just to get you out of a rough place, but to help you get into an even better place if you're already in a good one. Like I like to say, this podcast is not just for when you are struggling, not just for when you're low. It is even for when you are, at a high frequency, because, the journey of, personal development, the journey of self-discovery, growth, reflection, awareness is something that is constantly going on within us. But that being said, as usual, actually not as usual, this time for this season I will be dropping 2 episodes every week talking about the different laws of the universe, all 12 of them. And I will be dropping episodes every Friday at 10 p.m. Kenyan time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, so look out for that. But without saying too much, let's get into today's affirmations and the rest of the episodes. So on today's episode, I will be discussing the Law of Devine Oneness, so it's only right that the affirmations fit. So today's affirmations are: I am connected to all, attached to none. I am one with the one. I exist in all that exists. I feel harmony between myself and the environment around me. So with that being said, let's get into today's episode. So on this episode, I will be discussing the first law of the season, and that is the Law of Devine Oneness. And this law speaks on the interconnectedness of everything in the universe. And what that basically means and what it suggests is that we are all connected through creation. If you are somebody who's more religious, then that would be the fact that you are linked or connected to everything and everyone simply due to, the common factor, which is the creator or your creator, or just the higher power that you believe in. If you're somebody who believes more in more spiritualist, believes in the universe, then that is just the universal connection and understanding that energy transfers not just between us human beings, but even through nature and everything else. And literally, the birth of energy, even though energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only just shift and move and change. Just understanding that one way or another, we are actually just all connected, somehow, some way, which, hopefully you guys will get a better understanding of that a little bit in this. But I want to focus more on how to use this law and how to apply this law, and just breaking it down a little further and just helping you guys so you can use this to actually find a way or find ways to improve yourself and improve your daily life, and not just yours, but those people around you as well. So when it comes to the Law of Divine Oneness, it is actually seen as the foundation and most fundamental aspect of understanding the laws of the universe and increasing mindfulness and understanding. And that's simply because, it starts with creation. It starts with the birth of energy. It starts with understanding and being more aware of our connections to start to implement all these other laws, that are part of the universe. Stuff like, giving and receiving. All of that starts with the understanding that we are all connected in one way or another. Now, with that being said, when you're talking about being connected, you have to realize, the most important things, which is your actions both matter and make a difference. Now, here's the thing, like for me, I was in a space where I did not think of myself as somebody of value. I did not think of myself as somebody important in this, huge game of life. Like I didn't see or value myself as somebody of anybody of importance that could actually make any type of difference, really. And that's simply because I didn't understand the whole concept of us all be connected one way or another. And when you are not aware of that connection that you have with everybody and everything, you start to be less mindful of your actions and even the things, you say, do, and all of that. You just start to do anything that feels good to just you, anything that just serves your purpose or whatever you have in mind at the moment. And you're less aware of the fact that whatever you do does not affect you. So you have to understand what everything you do, think, and say does not just affect you, but it affects the people around you. Whatever your actions may be, create a ripple effect and makes a change. And what I mean by that, and I want to give you guys this example, is if you were all standing in a pool and one person in the pool, and this really ties into Low Man is an Island and realizing how connected we are. But if you were all standing in a pool basically and somebody was in the corner and they just started to move around in that corner, what would happen is the water would start to ripple outwards. It would first go to and hit the people closest to them, then it will go to the people after, and it just goes all the way till the end of the pool. And that's how our actions and our words basically work. When I say this, it's just like, not even the words you say to other people, but the words you say to yourself, those also matter as well, because how you're affecting yourself will now soon affect the people closest to you, and then the people closest to them, and then the people closest to them, and it just continues to create kind of this butterfly or domino effect, whatever you want to call it, of either positive or negative energy, because this is both a blessing and a curse, the fact that we are all connected. But I just want to bring out the fact that we could use it collectively to help improve not just ourselves but other people and our livelihood, and create the right type of environment for not just our growth but other people's growth as well. So when you realize, and when you start to realize, that what you do, say, think, because I want you guys to pay attention to that, even what you think does not just affect you, you start to actually realize the power you have in this world. Now, if you're somebody who did not value yourself, I want you to realize this, that you can simply change so many people's lives by just changing yourself. If you understand that you are connected to everyone and everything, one way or another, and you just start to apply better things in your life, if you start to behave a certain way a lot more, trust me, you are not just changing yourself for the better, you are changing everybody around you. And how that basically works, I want you guys to take this into consideration. If you have somebody in your life, and I want you guys to start paying attention to this, if you have somebody in your life who is doing good, taking the right kind of steps in the right direction, somebody who's radiating this kind of energy that is just different, of like growth and improvement and stuff like that, you start to feel the need to want to step into that as well. You want to step into that space of wanting to grow and improve yourself, because you're seeing and you're feeling somebody's energy. You're feeling their growth, and their growth is prompting you. And that comes from connectedness. It's not just watching and wanting that, but it's also the fact that one way or another, that is actually touching you in some way. It is actually drawing you, because you guys are one and the same. We are all one. We are all connected. And therefore, you start to, want to do better and start to do better. And next thing you know, the people around you start to notice this growth and change within you. And then as a result of that, they also want to make the same changes and improve it themselves and all of that. And literally, it just keeps going like that, like that, like that. And that actually just came from starting with yourself. When we want to make a change, when we want to do something big, sometimes we think about like, how can I end, world hunger or something like that. And you're so focused on, trying to really dive into other people's, if you're trying to help people grow mentally, spiritually, all of that. And this is a thing I had to learn, is that I wanted to help people grow, but I was more focused on like, how can I help people grow? How can I help people grow? Instead of realizing that I was in a space or in a position where I needed to grow some more. Because if I improve myself, and this is the thing, don't be afraid to be selfish. I don't even call it selfish. It's actually the most selfless act you could possibly do. Working on yourself is not even for the betterment of you, but it's a betterment of everybody else. If you can improve yourself, you also improve other people without even realizing. And, it's crazy when you hear stuff like, nothing can change unless you change. And it's not coming from some like place where it's like, oh yeah, self-improvement. It's literally like nothing can change unless you change it, because it's connected to you. Your reality is connected to you. Whatever is outside in the world, like whatever you see in your physical world is a reflection of your inner self, that inner version of you, because it is all connected. The physical and the spiritual are connected. I like to call it like a spectrum. And the worst thing people could possibly do is try to divide the two. Like, yes, the physical is the physical, spiritual the spiritual, but they do blend. They are one and the same. But when we start to try to categorize all these different things, we lose the whole idea and understanding that things are connected, that things have their purposes, and we're all connected in one way or another. So, with taking into consideration like all of this, like one of the things that always comes to mind every time I talk about this specific law, when I talk about this law of divine oneness, is literally from one of my favorite books, which is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I hope I said his name right. And this is the part that really got me, especially when I started reading the book, because it is in the very first few pages, if I'm not wrong, probably like the second or third page in I think it's an introduction, where he talks about these different myths on spirituality and spiritual enlightenment and different terminologies and stuff. And he basically goes into saying who in their right mind would harm another if they experience that person as part of themselves. And that's kind of just leading me into how you can apply this law of divine oneness into your daily life. When you become more aware that you are connected to people, you start to be more careful about how you treat people, how you treat, the environment around you, because you realize that those people, the things you experience, nature and all that, those are a part of you. When you start to realize and you start to identify other people as being a part of you, as you guys being part of one, trust me, the way you interact with people will drastically change. Because now you're thinking about, how would I want to be treated? You're thinking about, how would I treat myself? How do you ideally treat somebody like me? You see, you start to progress and you start to grow into this space of realizing that, like, dang, like I actually have to properly think about how I treat people, because this is another part of me. Like, everybody around me is a part of me, and I am a part of them, because we are literally one. And I hope you guys are still with me and I've not confused you too much. But that part, and I want to say it again, because that question, it really had me like, whoa. It is really, who in their right mind would harm another if they experience that person as part of themselves? Today, when I look back at it and I think about the people, I have hurt due to my actions or my words, and it's like, look, if I actually view those people as part of myself, I most definitely would not have treated them in the way that I did. But I wasn't aware of that connection. I wasn't aware of them being a part of me. And, that is something that when I started to realize, it really changed my interactions with people. I started to realize even the way people responded to me was a lot better. It was way better. And with that being said, like, how you can use the law of divine oneness to improve your mental and well-being is, first of all, by being compassionate towards others and, looking out for how you interact with people. Like I've just said, when you start to really focus on what other people are feeling and being more compassionate towards them, and really improve your way and form of interacting with people. That's simple stuff like language, making sure you're not putting people down every time you speak, making sure that you're not being aggressive unnecessarily. Like, I don't really think there's points to be aggressive, but watching just how you interact and talk to people on a regular basis. And one of the things that comes into mind when you start to do this is, as you think good in others, they will turn and think of the good in you. And that just simply works. Like, a lot of the time people are like, yo, I just don't know why people do not see the good in me. I don't know why people don't see the good in me. But do you see the good in people? Are you one of those people that is always seeing the negatives in other people, and then you wonder why nobody sees the positive side of you? Listen, we are connected. It is all a game of energy. It is all a game of the movement, the flow, what we create first within ourselves. And if you can't create that culture of thinking and seeing the good in people, don't expect people to see the good in you. The other thing is focus on growing your empathy and understanding what others are feeling. When you start to understand what people are feeling and you start to be more conscious about them and what they're going through, that also helps, because when you realize somebody's not doing good, you can also realize how that's affecting you. When you realize how you're feeling as well, you understand how it's affecting other people. And when you become more aware of just like how these connections work between you and your relationships with other people, you actually start to realize sometimes where there's a problem even within yourself, or whether it's an issue of you like taking up people's energy. And the reason I say this is because there's times where like I used to feel kind of low, and I used to wonder, like, yo, why am I feeling like this? And then I realized it's because there are people around me who were in that state that I just wasn't aware of. And this is something I, of course, now came to figure out a little bit later on. Like, I'm around people who are not on a high frequency. They're on a lower frequency. And because of that, and because of our connectedness, like, it starts to put mine down. So even if there's nothing actually wrong, I just feel like there's a lot weighing on me. But it's not my weight on me. It's somebody else's. And that's not a problem, but you need to be very aware about it, so you can also find ways to protect your energy at all costs. And that comes with understanding and using the law of divine oneness to really understand others. And that not only helps with you and your interaction with other people, but it helps with how you are able to identify whether something is wrong with somebody else and tackling the issue so it doesn't also affect you, and also just helping them out. So, while we focus on the law of divine oneness, we can increase our frequency, embracing love, forgiveness, compassion, and gratitude, all which benefit the whole and increase our vibration as well. Now, how to use the law of divine oneness? That, to be honest, that is the greatest summary I could think of. And that's because if you put your frequency at a higher level and you are radiating this strong, positive, loving energy to people around you, and they're doing that to the people around them, so on and so forth, you're now creating this space of like elevated energy. And that just comes with like putting out stuff like forgiveness, showing love to the people around you. Because when you show love to just one person, and I'm challenging you guys right now, like after you listen to this, go show love and gratitude to at least one person. And I kid you not, that one person will end up showing love and gratitude to somebody else. Because when you create that, those feelings of like appreciation, and it has to come from a place of like, genuine nature. You start to actually prompt people to think in the same way, to do the same actions, because we're all connected. So use that connection to your advantage to actually make a change. So if you're somebody who's been sitting back thinking about how you can actually make a huge difference, just start by showing love. Just start by being kind. Just start by being compassionate. Just start by being more grateful. And as you increase your frequency, you're also helping increase the frequency of those people around you. But with that being said, that is the end of this episode. I just want to say a big, big thank you to each and every one of y'all again. And for real, y'all show me too much love, and I appreciate it. I accept it. I love it. I love y'all. And of course, stay grateful, stay kind, stay compassionate, stay forgiving, and most of all, take care.